But I do have to close my window, which I did forget. I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna do an outfit tour. These are my jorts. They're from Pinky. Cute and stuff. The top is from Brandy and the scarf is thrifted. And I tried to put it up so it looks like a shirt. Thought it was very cute. And the necklace was a gift, but it's from Urban Outfitters, I think. To the topic of the video, this will be an August wrap-up of all the media I've consumed. We've got, for this month, we've got a few different categories. We've got Substack articles, songs, poetry, normal articles from like actual magazines and publishers, books, movies, and shows. And not most of these, but some of these only have one thing that I consumed. I'm going to explain further once we get there. So for the first category, which is Substack articles, this month was the month I actually went on Substack and started reading a bit. I didn't read a lot. I know one of the things I read until the halfway point, I didn't even put on here because I knew I didn't finish it and I felt kind of bad. I can't really talk about how I thought it was since I didn't finish the whole article, but it was called Getting into Heaven, I think, by Eve. I'm gonna link all the stuff down below. I like the writing in this one, that's why I wanted to mention it, but I haven't finished it, so I can't really give an opinion. I read 2 episodes, I guess, of Postcards by Elle, and I read the 19th postcard, which is called We Have Forgotten How to Be Kind, which I really liked, so that made me a subscriber of the whole publication. Then I also read the 20th postcard, and that one was called I Couldn't Help But Wonder Who Gets to Be a Writer. I think it's still kind of amazing that a lot of people publish, or most people publish their stuff for free, because that just opens the community wider for anyone who wants to be a writer or is a reader, or but yeah, I really like these 2. I think you should check out the postcards. They're really fun and they get released, I think, once a week. Then an episode of Highbrow by Mina Lee. I think some of you might know her. She posts a lot of video essays here on YouTube. I didn't know she was on Substack, so I came across her account really suddenly, but I'm very excited to read more by her because I love her video essays. This article launched me into writing an own essay that I wanted to publish. I don't think I am going to because it's very, very raw, and I think I wrote it more for myself to justify some things. I poured a lot of emotion into that. So anyway, the article was called 1 Hour Photo 2002, Brat Summer and Susan Sontag. And the opening quote was, I was here, I existed, I was young, I was happy, and somebody cared enough about me in this world to take my picture. And that's why that launched me into this whole conversation about digital cameras and how important it is to keep photo albums and stuff like that. And the quote she wrote in the end was, and maybe the moment I capture will never be as great as the memory preserves it to be. And maybe someone on the internet will project their upset about the state of the world and narcissism and whatever onto me. But at least I can say that I cared enough. I cared enough about me. I cared enough about the people. We were here. We existed. I very much enjoyed this article, if you can't already tell. The article was so good. I liked it so much. And especially I liked that she added the correlation to Brat Summer and the party pictures of Charlie XCX and all the other celebrities, and then the quotes from Susan Sontag. Next are songs. I put these songs in the wrap-up not because I generally only listen to them. It's more of what I listen to excessively, so what I kept putting on repeat and kept putting in my queue. And that's Sailor Song by Gigi Perez. It's also a newer one. It's absolutely phenomenal. Anyway, Femininomenon by Choblerone. I This song has been locked in my head for so long. It's so great. It's one of the best on the whole album. Like, next is Disco by Surf Curse. I love the TikTok trend to this. It's so wholesome. I love it so much. It's so cute. It's just humans being humans, and that's so cute. And then I've got 3 reggaeton songs that I'm gonna put up on the screen because I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to pronounce all of that. Technically I could, but like in a really bad American accent that I have when I talk in English. Go-Go Dance, Gata Only, and La Romana. I'm gonna put the artists on the screen. Anyway, next category. For poetry, I only read 1 poem this month, which is kind of, I don't know, sad, because I wrote so much this month that I kind of didn't think about reading any more poetry. But I came upon this poem that I read from a video interview where Helena Bonham Carter was being interviewed, and she talked about her favorite poems, and she read this poem out loud, and it's called Warning, When I'm an Old Woman I Shall Wear Purple by Jenny Joseph. This poem is so funny and so, I don't know, I really liked it because it shows that childish want and need to be silly and to live your life how you want to, but with the like whole adult seriousness built into it, because the narrator is talking about how she'll go back to the childish ways of expression and her silliness and doing whatever she wants to when she's old and when she can stop being so serious. And I read it to my dad, and he also thought it was very funny. Okay, next up is articles. The first article I read was The Friendship Challenge, How Envy Destroyed the Perfect Connection Between 2 Teenage Girls by Mary Gateskill. And I read this in the New Yorker. I afterwards realized that Mary Gateskill is an actual author, and she also writes books because she mentioned it, and I didn't know if she was well known because I've never heard of her before reading this article. But afterwards I was watching a recommendation video on YouTube, and someone mentioned that they read a book by her. But she talked about My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, and one of her real life experiences with how envy destroyed her best friendship with someone, and how later in life she tried to rekindle the friendship, but from the other part it wasn't reciprocated. And then when she became an author and famous, that person reached out and wanted to become friends again. And I've got 3 quotes from this article because I was super invested while reading. Quote 1. Reading it, I was reminded of a line I heard many years ago, perhaps on a radio show, that struck me with a memorable force. Men compete about what they do. Women compete about what they are. Quote 2. Her attitude had a bracing quality, evoking the value of something higher than appearances, art, culture, authenticity. She had grown up with a meager sense of what was possible and wanted more. Quote 3. The sense of belonging was intoxicating to me, even if it was superficial, but I lacked the sense to realize that it was superficial. Now to the second article I've read. It's called Budapest Snails, and it was written by Zeri Fekete. And I read it in the Berlin Literary Review, and it was first published in the Beaver magazine. I liked this, and I explained why in a vlog. I just didn't post it yet, so it's kind of bad timing, honestly, because I didn't expect this to be coming out before the vlog. I'm not that quick at editing, so I'm sorry, guys. And it was talking about how when children with their parents walk up and see a snail on the side of the road, they will walk up to it and slow down their whole rushed routine and just appreciate the snails, and the snails kind of show them that they have to slow down and appreciate the little things. I really liked it. And then I also read an article for my essay that I wrote about the Substack post on the publication Highbrow. That one was called Why Some People Still Love Physical Products, and it was by Matt Johnson in Psychology Today. I really enjoyed this article because it gave me some psychological insight as to why humans would prefer physical media over digital media, and spoiler alert, it's because we can project more psychological ownership over them. I'm not sure what position I was in before. I read this article by Grace Wordsworth because I wanted to see if Virginia Woolf as a person was racist and not intersectional. I knew she was an icon from the viewpoint of a white woman who is a feminist, but I wanted to see if that intersectionality really lacked with her. I didn't expect that type of behavior from Virginia Woolf, so I wanted to do a little fact check and see. And she was indeed very racist, and she also was anti-Semitic, even though her husband was Jewish, I think. And I know his relatives were Jewish, but I think it's important to clear that up when you read about someone, especially when you come to respect how they write and you see them as a favorite author or like someone to look up to because of their writing skills and how they braved the world and all of the things she did for feminism, but you also have to talk about the bad parts of her. All right. Now, to the books I've read this year, I read Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth. I don't know. Anyway, I gave it 5 stars. I haven't tabbed the whole book yet, but it was such a great book. I loved it so much. 5 stars, no notes. It was honestly such a beautiful coming-of-age story, and it portrayed girlhood in such a good way. I mentioned this in my summer favorites video as well. It's such a good portrayal because it shows that some of the people in the group are able to rekindle their relationship or their friendship because they've changed and because they've seen what mistakes they made in the past. And then there's some people who will sit there on a high horse and just judge others. And I think that most of all is a very good and realistic representation of girlhood, because girlhood is not always flowers and sunshine and rainbows. Most of the time it's people fighting or people not understanding each other and making it a bigger deal than it should be. Now for movies, I watched only 2 this month. The first one was Smurfs 2. Yeah. I watched this with my brother because we wanted to kind of relive the nostalgia aspect of it. And then I was roped into watching Jackpot with my dad and my brother. It's about Las Vegas and how they made a casino system where you have these cards and you have to sign in kind of with your face and your fingerprint, and then it puts you into a, not casino, but it's kind of like a lottery ticket, you know? And then if you win, those people have until sundown, like all the people who also checked into the lottery, and that's pretty much everyone, are allowed to kill you until sundown and win your prize. But yeah, that was the movie premise. I enjoyed it. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it on, Letterboxd, probably a 3 stars. I didn't find it super interesting. It was funny at times, but most of these action movies nowadays are very, very predictable, and that's why I don't really enjoy them. The literary fiction equivalent of books as movies, that's what I enjoy, personally. Last but not least is shows, and I'm not ashamed to say that I only watched animated stuff this month. Alright, so the first one was my rewatch of She-Ra and the Princess of Power, which is the Netflix adaptation, not the old one, the new one. That one is one of my favorite, all-time favorites. I had to give it a rewatch to oil all the engines in my brain who have forgotten a little bit of what happens in the story. The next show is also a very much comfort show for me, Rick and Morty. I know, 2 very different coins I'm throwing into the piggy bank here. I love Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty used to be my all-time favorite animated show. I'm not sure what strikes number one right now. And I watched season 6. I very much enjoyed it. It lacked a little bit of that classic adventure kind of Rick and Morty style, but I feel like that makes sense. But I very much enjoyed it. And I'm very excited to see season 7. I'm currently not watching season 7. I'm holding myself back. Me and one of my friends are very big Rick and Morty fans, and we said we would do like a marathon watch of season 7 because she also didn't see season 6 and 7. And I fear it's gonna be a very much nerd activity, like merch and all. And then the last thing on the whole list is I started JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I'm gonna finish the first season this holiday because I'm watching it with my brother. Actually, I promised him that we would watch the first season together because JoJo's is his favorite anime. Love it because it's kind of like a shared activity and we get to spend time together. But I've been enjoying it. I think it's building up tension quite interestingly. And that's it. That's the video, guys. I have 40 minutes to edit again. I love my life. Yeah, that's the video. Bye. I hope you guys enjoyed my wrap up, and I hope the background scenery of my videos is not too enthusiastic. Till the warranties run down, we'll just keep on moving.